On the count of.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, one second. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar organized by the Department of Economics, Pachaiyappa College for Women. So I request Dr. Kalaiselvi, Head of the Department of Economics, to begin the session.
A very good afternoon to one and all present in this webinar. It is my proud privilege to welcome you all to this national webinar on COVIDNOMICS on behalf of the management, principal, and the Department of Economics of Pachaiyappa College for Women, Kanchipuram. I extend a warm welcome to the distinguished resource person of the day, Dr. R. Banumathy, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Economics, D.K.M College for Women, Vellore. I welcome our respected principal ma'am, Dr. Shrimathy Ramalingam, who has been a constant motivation for achieving academic excellence and for serving the student community. Welcome, madam. I welcome my dear colleagues and take immense pleasure in welcoming my beloved students. I welcome all the participants, faculties, research scholars, students from various institutions across the country for this national webinar on COVIDNOMICS. I would like to introduce our resource person, Dr. R. Banumathy, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Economics, D.K.M College for Women, Vellore. He is here enlighten us. I would like to share a few words about ma'am. Dr. R. Banumathy ma'am has been 27 years teaching experience. She has been a IQAC steering committee member 2013 to 2016, IQAC coordinator 2016 to 2017, and member of academic auditing committee 2013 up to 2017. More than 50 papers presented in various international, national level conferences and UGC refereed journals. Madam has acted as a resource person to various national seminars at various colleges. Madam is the coordinator of Women Development Cell at D.K.M College. She took the additional responsibility of Controller of Controller of Examinations 2018 to 2019. Now I request you to Principal Ma'am to present felicitation address. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Kalai.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so happy to be here in this webinar and welcome Dr. R. Banumathy to come and talk about a topic which is most relevant in the present day. We have all been affected physically, mentally, and more so economically because of this COVID. So both these items have been put together, COVID and economics. I first didn't get the word when Kalaiselvi told me about this. I was not able to get what was the topic. But then when she explained it is two such words put together, so I understood the relevance of this topic. I'm so happy, madam, that you've come here to talk to us about the current economic situation. Not only the country which is economically affected, each one of us, majority of us are economically affected because of COVID. Many of them are at home, not earning a single pie, but still quite scared to go out for their earning because of the present condition. So, madam, I'm very happy to welcome you here to highlight all the participants about the effect of COVID. Am I right? Is that what you're going to talk about, madam? The effect of COVID on the economy.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Economic situations during the COVID period.
Yeah, right. So for the country.
Yes.
Okay, nice. So that's very much a current topic. I'm very happy to welcome you, madam. I'm happy to welcome all the participants for this webinar. Hope they will be enlightened and they will be able to assess the correct situation of this country because of the presence of COVID. as economics students, I think it is very apt that the students who have joined the webinar will be benefited by knowing about the present condition of the economy because of the presence of COVID. So welcome, madam, and welcome all the participants and the research scholars and the faculties who have found it interesting to join us in this webinar. Thank you very much. Over to you, Kalaiselvi. Madam, welcome once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your encouraging words. The topic of today's webinar is COVIDNOMICS. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused a sharp economic downturn globally, as indicated by deeper government deficits, slower growth, and higher unemployment. Even though pandemic situation will likely be carried over to the second half of 2020. Many governments have begun to ease social restriction with an elaborate set of health protocols. The real sector economy might begin to crawl from the darkness to revive, but with this to be the so-called new normal. Yes, ma'am. With these few words, I will hand over the session to the resource person. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. May I start now?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm extremely happy to be with you all in this evening. I profoundly thank management, Principal Dr. Shrimathy Ramalingam Madam, and Dr. S. Kalaiselvi, Assistant Professor and Head Department of Economics, Pachaiyappa College for Women, Kanchipuram, for providing me this opportunity. It is great to be among you in this virtual meeting. We are learning a lot of new things and unlearning certain things, and this COVID is emerging as a global leader. Already it is having its spoiled sport as a global torture. After celebrations and festivities of January 2020, the planet Earth is shell-shocked and in deep despair for the last 6 months. No one is sure when will this despondency and slump disappear. The coronavirus, or WHO named COVID-19, turned the world upside down. The scar and stigma created by COVID is deep and dampening. Yet people around the world fondly hope this will also pass through. இதுவும் கடந்து போகும். In the happy and warm days, people do not care or worry much about economics and economic data. As we think of God only in tough times, people also think about economics only in bad times. I am not equating economics to God, but only comparing on similar characteristics here. What is COVIDnomics? Let us come to the topic. The virus started from Wuhan, somehow magically skipped other parts of the China, but engulfed the whole world. It was more harsh on developed nations and thereby decimating the world economy. The economic policies during President Reagan is called Reaganomics. In India, Dr. Manmohan Singh economic policies is christened as Manmohanomics. We call the economic condition during and after COVID as COVIDnomics. I would like to call upon your attention about COVIDnomics for some time. Today's Big picture, nearly 3 billion people or population of more than 192 countries were subjected to moderate to severe lockdown. Social distancing norms makes it extremely difficult for the functioning and firing of economic engine. Due to travel bans, tourism industry is completely in limbo. Government's revenue is falling steep, while expenditure towards relief and rehabilitation is mounting high. World economy, human behavior, trade, and everything is in uncertain terrain. Economic and human history will be classified before COVID and after COVID, making them a two distinct period. In short, uncertainty is written large in everyone's face. Great Depression 2.0, is it? Japan has already announced the arrival of recession. Experts and economic pundits are crossing their fingers whether the Great Depression of the last century is coming back with a vengeance in this century. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused the biggest blow to the US economy since the Great Depression. GDP fell at 32.9% annualized rate, the deepest decline since records began back in 1947. 30.2 million Americans were receiving unemployment checks in the week ending July 11th. The global economy is expected to shrink by over 3% in 2020, the steepest slowdown since the Great Depression of the 1930s. China's GDP dropped by 36.6% in the first quarter of 2020, while South Korea's output fell by 5.5%. In Europe, the GDPs of France, Spain, and Italy fell by 21.3, 19.2, and 17.5% respectively. As we can see from the two graphs, world economy has been struggling with increased unemployment rate, even among the developed countries. A lot of countries are also on the brink of recession. Now, let us go back to a century to know more what happened then. The last global pandemic, Spanish flu of 1980 to 1920, is the last pandemic that rattled the earth. Spanish flu mortality record is somewhere between 20 million to 50 million. 13.88 million Indians died in British India. There are conflicting reports about death in every country. There is no distinct economic data aftermath of the pandemic. It's because the World War I preceded the pandemic. It was not easy to ascertain the causes of the economic slump, apportion them to war and pandemic. So we do not have exclusive empirical evidence about the last pandemic other than the death toll. World War I and pandemic acted as a double whammy, twofold setback. During those periods, exactly 100 years before our time, a resilient humanity and the world. Did the double whammy crippled and paralyzed the world then? Maybe to some extent can be the answer. Lot of deaths and destruction happen everywhere. But the silver lining is the resilient humanity, and world rose from it like phoenix bird. In less than 10 years, the world was exactly back to itself. No, I'm wrong. It was not the same world after pandemic and war. It was an improved and advanced world with more achievements, with vengeful preparations for the Second World War. Tyranny and World War II. The Second World War happened and recorded its devastations everywhere. The first nuclear arsenal onslaught was made on Japan. Ruinous rumblings were heard and felt all over the world by the World War II. Gloom and grief was the order of the day. Still, the world coped up to come back to the normalcy in much shorter period of 5 years. Lot of countries got independence, including our motherland, and a new world order started to bloom. India withstood after effects of Bengal famine during 1945 and the partition horror 1947. Japan emerged as a great economic power. In fact, the second largest economy until China replaced it. A beauty of the humanity says about cheering, caring, and curing. Pandemic of 1980 to 1920, World War I and World War II put the roadblocks to humanity's development. But humanity came out of despondency to march ahead. Humanity as the resilience to bounce back. Humanity never stagnates and goes on leaping forward. That is the beauty of humanity. Carrick says that science has advanced so much in this century. We are already withstanding the onslaught of pandemic with courage and confidence. Keeping ourselves safe and healthy is a paramount for our future achievements. Social distancing, wearing the face mask, and washing hands are the only available tools in our fight against the COVID. Let us fully adhere to all of them and be safe in these difficult times. Let us wait to see how the pandemic vanishes from the earth by vaccine or on its own. After cheering and caring, it's time for the curing. So curing from what? Curing from pandemic is one part, and curing from the economic ills caused by the pandemic is another part. We have to leave the curing of the virus to the scientists, doctors, Almighty, and of course, to the virus itself. But curing from economic ills in all our hands. Moderating our consumption pattern and pivoting to ethical lifestyle also do a role in reducing the economic ills. Let us start diagnose the economy. The state of the economy. Is it the state of the economy is in ICU? Any possibility to revive? Or is it hospitalized only for a periodic illness? Or is it an outpatient with small problem? These are the questions in everyone's lips about the state of the economy. For all the question, my answer is yes and no. It is very rare that all economic pundits agree on one point, that economy is sick and it needs treatment. It is natural that they differ in treatment methods. We need to rotate the wheels of the economy. To move the economy, the wheels of the economy should be rotated. To say it in modern times, all cylinders of economic engine should be firing. What are the wheels or cylinders of the economy? It could be agriculture, trade, which is of both internal and external, manufacturing, service. If you say a 4-cylinder engine is a light engine, and if you add 2 more, which is nothing but science and technology, we will get 6-cylinder heavy engine or multi-axle vehicle. Now let us start from the service. Service is an umbrella concept having a many different sections under it. Tourism, finance, banking, hospitality, healthcare, education, administration, entertainment, communication, etc. Service sector is the major employment provider. It is not only for employment, service sector fulfills most of the inner and outer needs of the humanity. Service sectors like power are acting a dual role as a manufacturing and also as service. There is no clear-cut demarcation to separate any one from manufacturing and service because both are interconnected and inseparable. As an individual act, as a producer or service provider, as well as consumer, wheels of the economy is also have all-in-one capability. There are some hard and harsh facts of statistics. Service sector, the most affected sector during the pandemic. World Tourism Council reports says 75 million job losses, 2 trillion US dollar as a revenue loss, 44% revenue loss in global air travel alone. In India, 23% decline in travel and tourism, financial services, construction activity between April and June 2020. The alarming situation in hospitality sector in India, 3.8 crore or 70% of total job losers. These are the very depressing facts. What to do? We cannot paint any rosy picture while we talk about the COVIDNOMICS. Some other compressing facts, I'm not going to give any statistics again. Talking about the manufacturing sector, according to UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, survey results on 24th April 2020, exactly just 1 month after the first lockdown. Manufacturing in India has almost stopped except the rice milling activity. Thank God, otherwise no, we would have been in food shortage. Even after the lockdown relaxation, industry faced supply chain problems. Extreme and tight cash constraints is a problem. The next I go with the MSME. The UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization report further states that MSME sector, they face uncertainties for products due to low and non-existing business income, while expenditure for labor, energy, rent, and other business inputs, which are considered to be a fixed cost, have to be incurred. Migration of workers back to their native makes a bleak picture on labor supply. As all of you are aware that MSME's contribution to the employment and a pivot in manufacturing, you will be more worried about the MSME sector. So to make your worry less, a consoling way forward report also presented by UNIDO. So what are the way forward for the MSME? The forward planning has just begun to think through potential solution to the many and diverse restart challenges. MSME should be credited to the symptomatic problem solution capabilities. MSMEs have started to look at options to reduce or defer less essential expenses. MSMEs are working with the government to access low-cost working capital. I understand your sigh of relief from UNIDO report. Let us hope our MSMEs get a better deal and raise to make India a powerful manufacturing hub. After a small brief, I have to disturb you again with some uncomfortable statistics. The revenue loss for everyday lockdown is 32,000 crore. Impact of GDP growth from April to June 2020 is negative of 9.3%. Estimated cost of full lockdown is 26 trillion US dollar throughout the world. Unemployment is rising and rising from 7.7% on March. It has been increased to 26% on May. 20% of GDP is from manufacturing, and auto sector owes 50% of it. Revenues of government is rock bottom, but whereas expenditure on the healthcare, food security is a skyrockets. Fiscal deficit for the year is high, and the rating agency Moody have rated India in negative. Enough is enough. I myself is drowned in this dark depths. Now let us come out of it. Talking about agriculture and trade. Agriculture is mostly decided by monsoons and pest. The supply chain problem of agriculture is not as high as manufacturing. In fact, India expects a better monsoon and a bumper harvest. Due to lockdown, some new consumption pattern is emerging, and it is hoped agriculture can get some boost from it. Let us hope for the best. At last, I was able to give at least one good news over here. Regarding the trade and business, it will resume if other activities get started and stabilized. Their growth depends on the speed and scale of the recovery of the other sectors. So when it comes to the what sort of measures to be taken, the treatment to be given here. After diagnosing the symptom, everyone will expect starting of the treatment for the economic recovery. Here, no one can start immediately until we know what movement the virus will take. Till then, we can have no capsule to keep us afloat. That is confidence, positivity on self, society, and science, which are the fulcrums of the confidence. To make us more confident, let us share and think about some positivity. Food security or food for thought. Food is the foremost singular need of living being. A long starving person will lose confidence in everything. That is why the Tamil poet Subramanya Bharati proclaims, Tani oruvanukku unavillai enil jagathinai azhithiduvom. I hope all understand this. The ancient Taittiriya Upanishad says, உணவே பிரம்மம், உணவிலிருந்து எல்லா உயிர்களும் பிறக்கின்றன. உணவிலிருந்தே எல்லா உயிர்களும் வாழ்கின்றன. அழிந்த பின்னும் உணவின் உள்ளேதான் மீண்டும் உட்செல்கின்றன. I think I have established the importance of food to all the living beings substantially. If there is no hunger and no need for food, why an economic activity? Let us provide food to the needy and avoid the wastage of food. Wasting food is a crime against the humanity. Keeping major population in lockdown and maintaining food supply chain reasonably active, which is not a small job. In the initial period of the lockdown, there were reports of food riots and lootings here and there in some parts of the world, including economically advanced nations. But very soon, the government swung into the action, and now we don't hear of such food riots and starvation death. This is to the credit of all the governments in the world who have managed the food supply chain mechanism in a responsible manner. Otherwise, we would have seen food riots, looting, and massive starvation death and law and order issues. So let us applaud all the governments in the world, irrespective of democratic, monarchy, and dictatorial, because they have delivered on the food front to reduce the sufferings of the mass of the people, masses. Though it is their prime duty to do, of course, but there is nothing wrong when we acknowledge them for doing their duty. Let us give our special appreciation to our Indian government, our Tamil Nadu government, other state government, and local governments for their prompt service. India's population size and diversity is not easy to manage during a lockdown period. There is nothing wrong when we expect more and refined service from governments despite our appreciation. We realize amid huge revenue loss, governments are spending on health care, food security, and other issues. After portraying one cheering episode, I'm back again to the bleak picture. In any lockdown situation, income loss and job loss will be the order of the day. Simplifying or magnifying them is not the right approach for any economist. We have to take it in face value and seek the solution with our available resources. Expectations, solutions beyond our capability is purely daydreaming, but we expect and demand the governments to do their part in order to mitigate the sufferings of the poor and the vulnerable sections of the society. The civil society also have a role to play in it. The religious and charitable institutions should rise to the occasion. Every individual citizen should endeavor to the best of their capacity in order to reach out the needy, to wipe out their tears and hunger. As this is a massive task, all hands must join together. Only then we can tackle such unheard sufferings. When it is believed, collective will of the people can move a mountain, why not this small virus? So we all join together only and cooperate for it. Let's see what would be after the COVID, life after the COVID-19. Life after the COVID will be a challenging one. Social distancing, wearing mask, maybe a new normal for some more time. World will recover from this soon, no doubt, but patience and discipline is the need of the hour. To make a better world to live, we may have to undertake some adjustment in our lifestyle and moderation in our consumption pattern. There is one dangerous virus there is than COVID. That is nothing but greed. So greed is the most horrific than any virus. Devoid of greed, the world will soon become a very better place to live. So now it is our responsibility to thank everyone who have contributed to our safety and the requirements. Let us celebrate our farmers for their tireless work. Let us appreciate our police force. Let us take our electricity board and the employee for our comfortable stay in our houses. Let us thank all our selfless corona warriors. Our indebtedness to our milkwala, street vendors, nearby shop owners is huge. Last but not the least, let us felicitate our teaching fraternity for their quick learning and adoption of the technology to keep the flag of education high. This lockdown period made us to realize how many people are enriching our life. I would like to thank the organizers of this webinar, department, principal ma'am, and my sincere thanks to all the participants for the patience listening. Thank you one and all.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you
Thank you.
for your wonderful speech, ma'am. Right, this time COVIDnomics is a fantastic concept, fantastic topic in your choosing for our ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. We can conclude the session with a vote of thanks. It is my duty to thank everyone for the successful completion of the national level webinar, because we have to express our gratitude for the kindness we received. First, I thank God for the successful completion of this webinar. Words are not enough to express my gratitude for the chief guest for spending her valuable time with us and for her invaluable insights. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. I am immensely grateful to our principal, ma'am, for always supporting us in all our academic endeavors. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I thank my colleagues and staff members from various colleges and students from Department of Economics and various Department of Students. Thank you very much, my beloved students. I would like to thank all the participants for the participation and interactions. I thank Mr. DINESH, Audacious Dreams Foundation for this technical support. Hope you all had a wonderful learning experience. Once again, I thank you one and all. Feedback link is posted in this chat box. You will receive your e-certificate within a week. Ma'am, no question answer from any chat box. So I will go to the conclusion of this session, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you very much for enlightening classes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kalaiselvi, madam.
Yes, madam.
Thank you, principal ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.